The power of knowing yourself, Epictetus teachings. The chief task in life is simply this, to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externalities not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control. Where do I look for good and evil? Not to uncontrollable externals, but within myself to the choices that are my own. Quote, Epictetus. Introduction. If we sit down for a moment and reflect on our life, we will see the amount of time we spent on feeling bad about things we can't control. We feel bad when other people hurt us, we feel bad being short or tall, and we also feel bad because of the weather that we have no control over. We also feel bad being rejected. Stop for a moment and think about all things that give you a negative feeling. Is it your toxic parents? Is it your appearance? Is it something in the future that can happen and you cannot control? The list is so long, but there is one single thing in common. No matter how hard you try, you cannot control it. You cannot change your toxic parents unless they want to change themselves. You cannot change the weather unless you travel to another country. No amount of negative feelings will make you shorter or taller, and nothing will change the future that you are fearful of. At least, when we think positively, we can contribute to better results and achieve our goals. To change what we can change is courage. To accept what we cannot change is serenity. And to differentiate between them is wisdom. This wisdom is not easy to learn. A 7-day challenge will not make you wise, it can make you wiser. But we never reach the ultimate wisdom in that short amount of time. In fact, there is no ultimate wisdom, because we will be learning that till the day we die. Chapter 1. Free Yourself. Epictetus discovered the meaning of freedom even though he was a slave. He believed that the way of true freedom was not being released from his physical shackles, but in using what was in his control to the best of his ability. After being freed, he devoted his life to teaching others what he had learned. Being a slave and feeling free is a great example on how to set ourselves free without external circumstances. In other words, if you are free, you will never set yourself up to be hurt by another human being. Chapter 2. What we control and what we don't. Some things are in our control and others not. Things in our control are opinion, pursuit, desire, aversion, and in a word, whatever are our own actions. Things not in our control are body, property, reputation, command, and in one word, whatever are not our own actions. Even more, the things in our control are by nature free, unhindered, and unobstructed, while those not in our control are weak, slavish, can be hindered, and are not in our own. Quote, Epictetus. When things go wrong, we are great at judging, thinking that they are bad or good, fair or unfair. We label them and describe them based on our belief system. For example, you were expecting an amount of money that will help you to survive, but then you could not get it. Your brain will go directly and release emotions. Those emotions are the results of your thoughts. So losing the money is something bad in your mind. But according to Epictetus, it is not. Because you don't know the wisdom behind this event. You don't know if losing money will open new doors for you. That absolutely makes sense. Let's reflect a little bit on what's happening to the world right now. A huge amount of negativity and fear. The pandemic was labeled by many names, and all of them were negative. In reality, the pandemic was a good thing for many people. It pushed many lazy anti-workout to start a workout program. It pushed many burger lovers to switch to a more healthier diet. It makes some people jobless, but it opens opportunities for others. For jobless people, it was a huge opportunity to reflect on their career skills that they need to improve, and a time to take a breath. Take a sheet of paper, write down what you can control in your day and also what you cannot control. Put your whole attention on what you can control. Wherever the attention goes, the energy flows. Be sure that the positive attention you put in will make you energetically in a better place. Chapter 3. Failure is time to know yourself. It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it what matters. Quote Epictetus. Improvement is a process going. It is a messy road full of ups and downs. Accepting that is important, because when we fail at any point of our life, it is more likely to feel negative feelings. And when failure is something occurring again and again, these negative feelings tend to persist. The accumulation of these repetitive feelings creates your identity and your reality. Stoics believed bad things always can happen, so they believe that preparing for failure is a good thing. Preparing for failure doesn't mean expecting it, just accepting it as a reality and facing fear. Stoics believe that preparing for the bad is the best way to handle things when they go wrong. They use the time of peace to accept that life can bring the unexpected. So instead of having some heavy feelings that lessen the happiness and joy, it is better to deeply understand that it is part of life. Seneca, as an example, the Roman Stoic philosopher, statesman, dramatist, would walk around in worn-out clothes, eat with pores, and spend less money despite his wealth. For him, this practice trains his mind to accept both sides of life, wealth and poverty. It also helped him to gain confidence in his ability to withstand the event he feared. Chapter 4. Don't judge. It isn't the things themselves that disturb people, but the judgments that they form about them. Quote Epictetus. Stoics believe that not events that harm us, but our opinions on them. It may sound easy, but in real life it is not. So, by practice we change our thinking patterns and we start to give different opinions on what we are going through. For example, if someone hurts your feeling and you cry because of his words or his actions, and logically you are right. But according to Epictetus, we are the ones who permit others to hurt us. Because we call it hurt, we give it a name and we judge it, like the idea of fearing death. When we looked at Socrates' life, he never feared death. We do. Why? Because we think that death is a bad event. If we are able to regulate our emotions by eliminating judgmental thinking, we are helping only ourselves. Chapter 5. Know who you are. Know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. Quote Epictetus. If life has taught me something, it is the importance of knowing myself. When we live our lives so randomly, while being so busy enjoying our lives, then when things go wrong, we fall in a huge hole. This hole is full of sadness, despair, fear, and doubt. So, what are the weaknesses that come with a lack of self-knowledge? And what do we in fact need to know about ourselves? How do we come to learn such things, and why is self-knowledge difficult to attain? There are millions of things that we can know about ourselves. However, what matters is the emotional and psychological part, because if we gain it, we gain life. When we lose it, we feel dead. Conclusion. The journey to know yourself is a life journey. It is the currency of wisdom. Every one of us has a story, a different story, and each of us is the narrative that can change the meaning of events and day-to-day life. Epictetus was born as a slave and supposedly had one of his legs maimed by a cruel former master, so that he always walked with a limp. Despite the external factors, Epictetus was able to live a decent life. On the top of that, he influenced many people over generations. Epictetus was a rational man, as he knew that life has ups and downs. He knew that obstacles are real, and whatever we do and work hard, we cannot change an upcoming event. The only thing we can do is to protect our emotional and psychological part. Knowing ourselves is the key to unlock the emotional side in us, to strengthen the mind and open the heart. If I ask you if you know yourself, you may answer confidently, yes, and that's a good thing. However, every time good or bad event happens, we are triggered emotionally. There, when we understand how much work we need to discover ourselves, to improve our self-love, and build a good relationship with nature. Epictetus has a point on that when he said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." Quote. So the first step to know ourselves is to accept the fact that we know nothing. Sorry, but obsessed with learning. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please hit the like button. If you want to see more videos, hit the subscribe button. If you have something to say, please leave a comment.